Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness just confirmed the huge impact WandaVision will have on this movie by bringing back Wanda's children, Billy and Tommy, in the latest trailer, in the same exact Westview house set from that series. But do they exist? Did they ever exist? Are all of us just mere figurines in Gus's fish tank? Well, the exact nature of Billy and Tommy, where they went, and how and why they are back now in Multiverse of Madness remains one of the biggest unresolved questions from WandaVision, so let's break down where they've been and how exactly they're now returning in this film. Let's rewind the clock. Billy and Tommy first appeared in WandaVision Episode 3, conceived not out of any biological means with Vision, despite Paul Bettany assuring us that it is purple and it's spectacular, but really as a manifestation of Wanda's sitcom hex, the way sitcom actresses' pregnancies would be worked into the plots, and the way those kids would suddenly age up and get recast between episodes sometimes. Now, at the time, you remember, many of us were convinced that those boys were going to be revealed as part of Billy and Tommy's origin from the Marvel Comics, babysat by Agatha Harkness, but revealed to be puppets of Master Pandemonium using fragments of his master, Mephisto, all part of a scheme to steal Wanda's chaos magic. Kids later on in the comics becoming the object of Wanda's obsession in the Amazing House of M event, as she villainously warped reality to try to reach a reality where she's with her kids once more, until after a major alternate universe conflict leads with her declaring no more mutants and erasing a lot of mutants from the Marvel universe. Until later on in the comics, some Mephisto magic allows these two kids to respawn as the mutants and Young Avengers, Wiccan and Speed. And along with many parallels to those original West Coast Avenger comics, WandaVision totally teased us with dialogue in which Pietro calls the two boys Demon Spawn.
Unleash hell, Demon Spawn!
Now, throughout the episodes, Billy and Tommy evolved into their Wiccan and Speed forms. Billy capable of harnessing sorcery the way Wanda does, Tommy a speedster like his uncle Pietro. Agatha kidnapped them in episode 7 and revealed them in episode 8 strung by the neck, an image that I could not help but see as puppets akin to the Master Pandemonium panel. My goal with these videos is to have them dripping with insight. But you know what's not fun to have drip? Wet feet after you accidentally stepped into a puddle. Doesn't that suck? Soggy socks have been ranked among the top 12 day ruiners for years, but there's a simple solution to get rid of them. You just gotta wear some sleek, comfortable Vessi shoes. Thanks to Vessi for sponsoring this video. Vessis are the perfect everyday shoe. They are sustainably made knit sneakers that are 100% waterproof. They are made with this Dymatex material that is super easy to clean with just a rinse of water.
Oh no! I spilled water all over my feetsy weetsies, but my oinky oinkies are bone dry like the dune sea. Thanks, Bessie.
Whatever the season, Vessis are truly the everyday shoe. Banish those soggy socks forever. Vessis are my go-to shoes by my door, so check them out in the link below with a pair of your own Vessi shoes. But of course, the WandaVision finale left our theories high and dry in all kinds of ways. But when it comes to Billy and Tommy, a big reason for that was a deleted sequence that would have given them a lot more to do in this finale, as the series director Matt Shakman confirmed to Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin on the Fat Man Beyond podcast.
We did have a whole sequence where Darcy, Monica, Ralph meet up with the kids, and they're in Agatha's house, and they think that maybe they should steal the Darkhold from the basement because the kids had seen it when they were down there being held hostage by Agatha. And they go down there to get the book, and they're reaching for the book, and the rabbit hops up in front of the book. And they're like, oh, it's Senor Scratchy, he's the best. And they like reach over to pet him, and he like hisses, and then this whole American Werewolf in London transformation happens, and the rabbit turns into this big demon, right? And to her, like, familiar, you know. And then Goonies set piece ensues with all sorts of fun as they try to escape from the rabbit.
Yes, Senator Scratchy the Rabbit was intended to be Agatha's familiar, a demon in disguise, guardian of the Darkhold book, transfigured via witchcraft into an innocent household form. Ultimately, the boys, like Vision inside of this hex, were truly spawned by Wanda herself, manifestations of her grief, her dream family that she wished she could have had with Vision had he not been killed by Thanos. So in episode 9, when Wanda decided to drop that hex from the Westview borders, Vision and the boys were erased along with it. But after tucking them in, Wanda said to them,
"Thanks for choosing me to be your mom."
And yes, I understand that this is a sentimental expression many a parent has said to their child, but in this context, it does ring as at least a bit curious considering Billy and Tommy's mysterious origins, especially when you consider the post-credit scene where Wanda reads the Darkhold and hears these boys calling out to her from beyond. And And that takes us to now. In footage from Multiverse of Madness, Wanda conducts a seance that transports her mentally back into that same Westview home with Billy and Tommy on the couch, a fire blazing in the hearth, and cartoons playing on the TV. Now, I pointed out in the breakdown that this cartoon is an old Walt Disney Oswald and Hortensia short from 1928 called Skyscrapers. This is pre-Mickey Mouse era, this being a symbol of the erased history that could have been had Universal not taken Walt's beloved rabbit from him, which led to our timeline where Steamboat Willie starring Mick Mouse dominated our history. And I see this as a reflection of how all of this suburban ideal with Billy and Tommy, and who knows, maybe Vision cooking pepper cash in the kitchen, was erased from existence, forgotten, retconned, until Wanda demands attention must be paid. So I think this reunion with Billy and Tommy is a direct continuation of the WandaVision post-credit scene. A vision haunting Wanda, a reality she tries to use her witchcraft to recreate, but like any mirage, when you reach out to try to touch it, it vanishes and slips through your fingers. So if Billy and Tommy were never corporeally real in the MCU, but rather manifestations of Wanda's grief, who or what is using them now to try to get to Wanda? Who is sending her these projections? I think the answer to that question is going to tell us why the multiverse is so mad, who wants it to get madder, and what it will look like on the other side of this crisis. Now, I have speculated a number of demonic entities could be corrupting Wanda. Of course, our daddy Mephisto, Nightmare, and yeah, plenty of signs and footage are pointing to Chthon, author of the Darkhold and the demon who initially cursed Wanda with her chaos magic when she was a baby. And if there is a darker demonic force behind all of this, Chthon does make a lot of sense. And I also dig that idea that his Ngarai minions in the trailer could be the demon spawn that Billy and Tommy were based on, the way Senator Scratchy was a demon in disguise. And when it comes to Mephisto, folks, I'm gonna be okay waiting for Daddy to come out of the shadows until like Midnight Suns or, you know, anytime I close my eyes. Oh, hey Daddy. But perhaps the more interesting conflict here, and I think trailer footage is backing this up, is Wanda versus Wanda. In the past, I've shared the theory that the way Multiverse of Madness might adapt the House of M storyline is by suggesting that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not the core main Marvel universe, and that the truth that Professor X wants to tell us now is that what we have been watching since 2008 is a flawed, incomplete side universe where mutants have been, like poor Oswald, forgotten, erased from our memories, that we are not living in a house of M, but rather a maison du mépris, a house of misery, and that the person who cast that Runes of Kafkal style retcon that resulted in the spawning of this new reality was this other Wanda. In her reality, she had children, mutants existed, but then some past House of M conflict with her ended with her declaring no more mutants that gave us our current mutant-less MCU. But our MCU Wanda, as a Nexus being, was so broken by grief that when she cast her Westview Hex, the family she populated it with were her sons from that other Wanda's reality. And when she did that, her pocket reality opened a gateway and sent a signal to her variant that now MCU Wanda needs her help. And that help takes the form of these nightmares and these voices in which her sons beg our Wanda to fix this reality so that they can now be back with her once more. And when that happens, spawning along with them in the MCU is going to be every Oswald and Aurora who were stolen from our memories. And the fact that we're seeing Patrick Stewart, Charles Xavier, might be the way Multiverse of Madness justifies why Evan Peters played Pietro in Wanda's Hex. Now, I know, the understanding in the weeks after WandaVision was that Evan Peters was just a sitcom recasting joke, and that Ralph Bohner was just some actor living in New Jersey. That might end up being the case, folks, but I will direct you to Matt Shackman's own words about the disappointment some people felt that Evan Peters wasn't Quicksilver.
What I would say to the Marvel fan who's a little disappointed that the X-Men didn't show up or the multiverse didn't show up clearly right there, is that they're coming. You know they're coming, right? You've got a movie called Multiverse of Madness. You've got mutants announced at Comic-Con a year and a half ago. Like, they're coming.
And time has proven him right. Multiverse of Madness is here, and the Fox X-Men are in it. So Marvel has an opportunity to reframe all of the MCU and the lingering mysteries from WandaVision as the creations of another Wanda who needs her MCU variant to fix her mistakes. And in doing that, give us Deadpool and Storm. Gimme. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.